Hey, what's up, everybody? Hope that you're having a good week and enjoying your start to the second half of the year after the July 4th holiday. Just want to do a real quick video talking about this all-female fight card coming up. At least the co-main and the main event are all female. Claressa Shields and Savannah Marshall going for the undisputed super middleweight championship of the world, and Mikaela Mayer-Baumgardner for, I believe, 3 of the 4 belts. Either way, this is clear number 1, number 2 at super middleweight and at junior lightweight. Both Ring Magazine championships will be on the line for these 2 fights. This is going down September 10th. I'm just looking at the fight poster over here. September 10th, ESPN Plus here in the United States. And look, this is a great card. I like this because you're getting really the 2 best fights other than the rematch between Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano that you can make in all of women's boxing. And I know some of you out there will say, well, Mike, this isn't men's boxing. And I know some of you guys, women's boxing isn't your thing. Listen, I'm not trying to make an apples to apples comparison, okay? Men's boxing, women's boxing, we've been over this. 2 different things, the talent pool, 2 different levels. I get it, okay? However, stay with me here. If I were to ask you, if we were to go back to the beginning of this year in January, and I were to ask you, what are the 3 biggest fights you could make? 3 biggest fights you could make in women's boxing. What would you say? You'd say Taylor Serrano. You would say Shields and Marshall. And you'd probably say Mayer and Baumgardner, especially after their last fights where Baumgardner won a title and everything else, right? So those are clearly the 3 best fights you could make in women's boxing. And nobody would say that those fighters are overrated, that they're not skilled, that they're not at the elite level of the women's boxing game. Clearly they are. And so you're getting all 3 of those fights within a calendar year. Actually, you're getting them within less than half a year of each other. And we already saw that Taylor Serrano was arguably the best women's fight ever. It was for the undisputed lightweight championship. Now you're going to get undisputed super middleweight and almost undisputed. Let's be honest. This is for the legitimate championship at 130 as well. And let's also keep in mind the winner of this fight between Mayer and Baumgardner might be an eventual opponent for Katie Taylor or Amanda Serrano. So there's some story there. Let's also not forget that Marshall beat Shields in the amateurs. That was a long time ago. Marshall was much older, more mature. This is the pros, much different game. But I'm just saying there's a backstory there as well. And there's some bad blood between these fighters. There's been a lot of trash talk and everything else. Some of that's played up for the cameras, of course, but some of it isn't. Some of it is legit. So I'm excited for this card. You don't have to be a huge fan of women's boxing. You don't have to be some political activist with an agenda to get into this, man. I actually think this is going to be fun. Either way, it's important. And guys, think of over in the men's game, the 3 top men's fights you can make this year. Are we getting them? Are we getting them? We're getting a couple of them, maybe. I mean, Canelo and Golovkin, that rubber match, that's the biggest fight you can make commercially south of heavyweight. And the rematch between Joshua and Usyk, that's important. How about Crawford and Spence? Is that done yet? How about Beterbiev and Bivol? Is that going to happen this year? How about Gervonta Davis fighting anybody with a pulse? Is that going to happen this year? I can keep going. You see where I'm going with that, right? If you were to get the 3 best fights that you can possibly make within a year in men's boxing, and 2 of them on the same card, non-pay-per-view, you all would be shitting a brick right now. So all I'm saying is the women's boxing game is really stepping up, and it's noteworthy. It's worth mentioning, okay? Even if you're not a huge fan. But I still haven't met one of you that watched Taylor Serrano and wasn't entertained, okay? So now let me say this. Do I expect a fight on that level on this card, on this September 10th card? I do not. On paper, they're going to market it that way because if you go back to the lightweight fight, Serrano was the brawler, the power puncher, comes forward, knocks girls out. Katie was the boxer, moves, uses skills and craft to win her fights, right? But that's not exactly how it played out in the ring because Katie Taylor likes to get into brawls, and she allowed Serrano to catch up in that fight and have that big, I can't remember whether it was 4th or 5th round, whichever round it was, that was basically a 10-8 round, you can argue. This as dominant as you can get without a knockdown or knockout for Serrano. And then Taylor, fought her way back and won the fight. It was really, really exciting stuff. They're going to try to market it that way with this doubleheader because obviously Claressa Shields is the boxer. She's playing the Katie Taylor role. She's had all the belts, the Olympic pedigree, right? The amateur pedigree, all that stuff. And Marshall's the girl who's been knocking other girls out. She's going to play the part of Amanda Serrano. The difference is Claressa Shields ain't going to pull a Katie Taylor. She's not going to oblige Savannah Marshall by getting into a street fight with her at any point in the 10 rounds of this fight. Claressa's just going to box and make it as boring and dull and tough to watch at times if she needs to, as she needs to win the fight, right? And it's going to be the same thing in the 130 fight, where Mikaela Mayer will play the part of the boxer, and Alycia Baumgardner, who has some knockouts and can punch and is a stronger, more explosive puncher than Mayer. She's going to try to play the part of the brawler, coming forward with power punches. And Mikaela Mayer ain't going to play that game. She's gonna box, and she's going to do everything she can to make it an ugly, dull fight. So I don't expect these two fights to be extremely exciting, but I think the atmosphere will be exciting. I don't get into all the historic women's blah blah stuff like that. That's all politics, and I don't really care about that shit. I just care about the best fighting the best, and that's what this is. So you have to support all four of these women and their camps, their management, the networks, everybody involved in this for getting it done and showing the men, Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, Al Heyman, Sam Watson, Premier Boxing Champions, I'm talking to you, showing the guys how it's supposed to be done. All right. This is the way it's supposed to work. And so I just thought, it's midweek. I thought I'd get in here. We're not doing the podcast this week, and Friday I can't do a show because I'm going to be traveling. By the way, I should mention, so I wanted to get on here and do a quick video, but I should mention that I'm traveling to Chicago this weekend. In fact, I'll be traveling Friday afternoon up there, and I'll be in Chicago for a few days for work. So if any of you guys watching this are in Chicago and you want to get up, maybe we could do a meetup or something. Drop me a line, man. DM me on Twitter, whatever it is. Message me here, leave a comment, and maybe we'll try to figure something out. I'm probably going to be doing the Neutral Corner, my podcast, next Monday from Chicago. I won't be able to take calls because I'll be on the road. I won't have my studio set up there where I can, take calls. I can't bring all that stuff with me, but I'll be able to do my show. And we might have a guest on, Jim Boone, ticket broker friend, that can break down all the info on some of the upcoming big fights, including the Canelo Golovkin rubber match, when to buy, what to buy, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that'll be a lot of fun, man. I'll probably be doing that from Chicago at the hotel. So just a heads up about that. But anyway, wanted to drop just a real quick video with a quick note about this doubleheader. And once again, just say congrats, ladies. Slow clap, because women's boxing in 2022 dwarfs anything we've seen in women's boxing beforehand. In fact, you can make a legitimate argument. And if we get the rematch between Taylor and Serrano this year, I don't know if we will. I don't know if Serrano, I don't know if they're going to do it. I don't know if both sides are interested in that. But if it can happen this year, 2022 will be the biggest year of women's boxing. It already is, but it will be bigger than every other year in women's boxing before combined. Seriously. I mean that seriously. That would not be a hyperbolic statement. It'd absolutely be true. So this is a great doubleheader. Looking forward to it. And man, I'll say it once again, the schedule over the second half of the year, particularly as we get into the late summer, into the fall, is going to be great. I'm still holding out faith that they get Spence and Crawford done. I'm not holding my breath, but I'm holding out with optimism that they get that thing done. And if they do, this will really be a special year, man. So good stuff, and I hope everybody had a great 4th. We'll see you Monday at TNC live from Chicago. All right, peace, everyone.